Hey there, my name is Chris Noring and welcome to this video on Copilot and TypeScript. I'll take you through how to build a web API using TypeScript. And guess what? I'm actually not gonna type code, I'm gonna let Copilot do it for me. Everything from production code to unit test to documentation. I'm just gonna use prompts. You're gonna be amazed. If you're new to Copilot, check out this video. We're inside a Visual Studio Code. I have created an app.ts file. This is a very common entry point file for developing anything TypeScript. What I've done here at the top left is to have a comment, a prompt, where I want to tell Copilot to help me. So I'm saying interface customer with email and name field. So now I'm going to put myself on the next road just to see what Copilot suggests. Okay, I say I get an interface, I get an email string, I get a name string, and there is the end of the interface. This is fantastic. This is a great beginning. Next up, let's create our web API endpoint. Now, create that endpoint, we need to create another comment that we need to use to instruct Copilot. So I'm saying create express post request for customer, and now let's see what Copilot is telling me to do. App post, that's great. Request response, validate customer, yes, I want to do that. Request body, that's perfect. That means that someone is posting their customer data to me. Validate email, I definitely want to do that. That's later in this video. And here we can see how if you're not providing a valid email, it's gonna spit out 400 error response. And we see that it wants to store the customer and put the customer in a list. Great. And customer created. Fantastic. It has been able to create all the things that I needed to create for me, and it is context aware. It knows about customer. However, I don't have the validate email function. Can Copilot help me even with that? So validate email function. Look at that. I'm getting an email regex. And you can see that these are the type of regexes pattern matching that I don't want to write myself. So I let Copilot do it for me. It even tries to test out the email. Now, of course, as a very responsible developer, there are a few things that I need to add to my code to actually be something that I can put into production. Those two pieces are about testing, because I want to test all my code, and documenting. If I do that too, I'm going to show up really, really well. There are many test frameworks out there. One test framework I often use is Jasmine. So I want to tell Copilot to create a Jasmine test next. So I'm typing my prompt, validate email test in Jasmine. And I can see how it's giving me the describe, the it, and the expect, and everything is supposed to be true. So at this point, I have everything that I'm asking for. It even suggests some new test for me, should return false. So let's try to add that one as well. Great, so now I have a test that should succeed, and I have another test that shouldn't succeed. Now, of course, you're not going to put all this code into this one file, right? No, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to move code about, and you're going to see exactly how I'm going to do that. So let's do that next. Okay, we have moved out some code into various files. We have an email.ts where the interface and the validate email function goes. We got a test code that belongs in a test file. That's great. App.ts, but you might wonder where the app.post comes from. So we're going to tell Copilot about that one too, so it can help me to create that Express application that I'm building. And what you're seeing here is how I'm creating the Express app, and it even is adding a get request for me as well for customers, which is fantastic. Now it's making my life even easier. Documentation is one of those things that belong with a professional developed application, so we're gonna be adding that next. And we can type document interface customer and see where it gives us. We can see here we get interface customer, we get property string email, name, and it gives us even an example. You can see how that works. And this is probably quite enough. And we see that we have documentation on the interface. What about the email function? Just like before, it is giving us a function, param, what it returns, and even an example trying to invoke said function. That's really it, right? Well, we're not quite there, because right now we can validate an email. That is great. We have an interface customer. That is also great. We have documented all the parts. So what is actually missing now? Let's have a look. It says to store customers. This is some kind of in-memory array. And this is something we can ask Copilot for help with. So we can just ask it to create that so our code checks out. So we are calling validate email. That's great. We have an if and else scenario, whether we have a valid or invalid email, and it's able to store the customer if everything is good, and it's able to do everything we need. There wasn't much code here that we typed today. In fact, all we did was to provide these prompts for Copilot to give us what we needed. Missing here as part of our code is some imports to make sure that everything works. I believe even this is something that Copilot can help us with. The only reason why this doesn't work is that this isn't part of a module that we have installed yet, so we still have that installation business to do. You didn't think that Copilot was just gonna completely replace you, right? You still need to know exactly what you're doing for this to work. If you know how things work, what parts goes together, Copilot can definitely type it faster for you.
Wasn't that amazing? We were able to take you through building a web API with nothing but prompts. Copilot has done 99% of the job. Just imagine how this is going to make you twice as fast or even faster. If you found value out of this, please like and subscribe.